Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my first impressions look on the New Balance Hesi Low V2, and obviously this is the V2 or the second version of the Hesi Low, which is New Balance's cheapest basketball shoe that they have on retail. And it's also made for, it literally says nimble and quick players, I believe it was. So yeah, it's basically made for guards, right? If you're a quick player and you want a responsive shoe, this shoe is made for you. The original Hesi Low was a pretty good overall performer. Definitely not my favorite, but it was a pretty solid shoe performance-wise. But yeah, 110 bucks is a great price. $110 is pretty much budget. And if you guys do want to cop a try, to leave in the affiliate link in the description box. And if you do choose to get this shoe, it does help me out if you buy it from the affiliate link in the description box. And as always, thank you guys so much for all the support. Or there will be a product picture underneath this video or a link in these corners. But yeah, there are two colorways, this colorway and also kind of like a Volt colorway. I mean, and honestly, the design looks great. It looks awesome. And also it does come with two laces. You know what I mean? Originally it came with this one, with this black and white, but then I want to show you guys the red one as well that it came with. And I guess obviously you can mismatch it if you want to. But yeah, I'm very excited about these shoes because, you know, it looks great and it feels really nice on foot. But of course, let's get it started off with the Tracciones, and we have a solid black rubber outsole with a very wavy herringbone traction pattern here in the forefoot going around this pivot circle where the ball of your foot is, right? And it's this red color, and we have the Roman numeral 2 for obviously the V2, and then here in the heel we have a very wavy herringbone traction pattern, but it's a little bit less wavy right here in the heel. And also we have the New Balance logo as well as it exposing the foam, and yeah, it feels really soft when you press it. So how does the traction feel right now? It feels freaking amazing, and of course I can be bamboozled just for my first impression, because for my first impressions of the Jordan 39, I thought it was gonna be amazing, and it was amazing on a clean court, but very not good on dust, right? So we'll have to see for the Hesi Low V2, but just for my wood floors and just for my first impressions, it feels really nice, right? The bite seems really good so far. Also, there is a nice loud high-pitched squeak, which is also awesome in my personal opinion. I like to have a very squeaky shoe usually for my hoop shoes, and I feel like a lot of hoopers do as well. Of course, that has nothing to do with performance, but this shoe has a very loud squeak. As far as dust performance, well, of course, like I said, we'll have to see on that, but the grooves aren't super close together, so I don't think it'll trap dirt or debris or dust that easily, but again, we'll have to see on that. And durability, however, seems like it'll be very good, right? We have a lot of surface area, right? We have a lot of rubber, and also the rubber is pretty hard, and the grooves are super deep. So I feel like it'll be good for outdoor use and overall durability. So yeah, traction is feeling really good so far. Now moving on to the heel to toe transition, also feels pretty dang nice, right? So here in the heel, we have a nice, like kind of rounded and curved shape. It is a little bit caged for the midsole here, right? The rubber comes up to cage the cushion a little bit, but it's still not even that clunky. It's actually really soft for the compression here in the heel. Then coming here to the forefoot, has a very nice rocker shape. So overall, from the shape, it feels very nice and smooth, and it has a good amount of forefoot flex, which does feel nice as well. But it has really good torsional rigidity, so it feels like torsional support is going to be very good. It doesn't bend at all here in the midfoot. So overall, heel to toe transition feels extremely smooth. And now moving on to the cushioning setup. The cushioning setup feels really nice, right? So they are using fuel cell. It says fuel cell here on the foam on the medial side and the midfoot. And yeah, it's using full length fuel cell, and fuel cell is really nice. It has nice bounce, it has a good amount of compression, it's soft as well. It does bottom out kind of fairly quickly, you know what I mean, but overall it is pretty dang nice, especially for only 110 bucks, and they're using full length fuel cell. You guys remember like what, 10 years ago with like Kyrie and the Zoom Freaks and the PGs with the Phylon guys? You guys remember that? We've come a long way, you know what I mean? Phylon was so stiff, it was so bad with the cheaper shoes especially, but now with the cheaper shoes pretty much the same exact price 10 years later for 110 bucks, we're getting really nice cushion, right? So here in the heel is really freaking soft, right? So even almost a little bit too soft right now for me. It almost feels a little bit unstable here in the heel, but again, like I said, fuel cell does bottom out pretty quickly, so we'll have to see if it feels unstable when I play in it. But yeah, the compression is pretty insane here in the heel. In the forefoot, obviously it does get a little bit more dead, but This design is actually pretty cool, right? We have some triangles, and I thought this was like some caging, some plastic, but it's not. It's actually the foam, and you can press it. It's soft, and there's also pretty nice compression here in the forefoot as well, but not as much as the heel. Overall, court feel is average, I would say. It's definitely a lot higher in the heel compared to the original Hesi Low, which kind of sucks. You know, that's something that, you know, quick players, nimble players like to have, especially me personally. I like to have good court feel because, you know, I rely on speed a little bit more. And, you know, this shoe doesn't feel super good for court feel. I feel like it's kind of high up off the ground, especially here in the heel. So that kind of sucks. As far as the step and comfort goes, step and comfort is a little bit stiff because of the strobo board, right? So first of all, the insole is okay. You know what I mean? They're using like a really shiny blue type of foam. But yeah, it's just an insole. Doesn't really improve step and comfort that much. But of course, underneath that, they're using regular strobo board, you know, stiff, very stiff feeling. When you feel it with your finger, it's pretty stiff, right? But then I have been proven wrong because, for example, like the two ways, right, the Fresh Foam BB as well, like the V2 and also the Kawais, they have a very stiff strobo board, right? But they do break in. It does get a little bit softer, especially since the foams that New Balance usually uses is really soft, right? So yeah, like all the New Balance hoop shoes, the step and comfort gets better and better and softer once you keep playing in it and breaking it in. So I'm sure this will do the same thing, right? But for right now, for my first impressions, it's a little bit stiff because of the stiffer strobo board. But overall, I mean, I feel like if it was a really soft, you know, feel for the underfoot cushion, combining that with the crazy compression here in the heel, it would be too much and too soft. And I'll be like, why would you make it like this soft? Especially since you're saying it's for like quick, nimble players, you know what I mean? So I definitely do like what they did a little bit better here in the originals. But again, we'll have to see on how it plays out, how it kind of breaks in, and also if this bottoms out, you know. So anyways, there is the cushioning setup there. Moving on to the upper. The upper is really freaking nice, right? So they're using a really nice textile material, which feels actually really nice for quality and way better comparing to the original Hesi Low with this kind of like mesh material, right? So I didn't mind it really at all, like on foot, you know what I mean? Like it's supportive overall, it's pretty thin, you know, but just the quality is not great. But I mean, it's 110 bucks, so it's not that big of a deal, right? But here in the V2, they're using a really nice textile material. And it has this kind of like really cool circle pattern to it as well. And then we have a little bit of fuse going around the tip of the toe with this shinier fuse in this colorway for extra durability and support. And then here in the midfoot, it does get a little bit stiffer and it feels a little bit more supportive, which is of course a good thing. And then on the lateral side where the New Balance logo is, this is actually just a material. You know what I mean? It's not like another plastic or anything like that like they usually do. It's actually a different colored material here on the lateral side. And then on the medial side, it looks like it's just a regular type of, you know, printed on material for the logo. And then here in the back of the shoe, we have a very crappy feeling synthetic material, like plastic material almost. And it kind of goes around the heel with this like pull tab almost, you know? And also we have this kind of like external TPU heel counter, which is a very stiff and thick plastic with this like wavy pattern on it on the medial side. So yeah, it feels really nice on foot. It conforms to your foot extremely well. It's thin, but also feels really supportive. So that feels nice, right? And then for the tongue, we have like an average amount of padding, feels pretty nice and cozy on top of your foot. It's also a half booty construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit. And then here in the ankle area, it has like an average amount of padding, maybe a little bit less than average. Like on the sides, it's not super well padded, you know? And in the back of the heel, we have a little bit more padding, which does feel nice. And I feel like with this padding, right, in the back of the shoe, there's a good amount of it, like where your Achilles is, right? So with that, it kind of like pushes your foot forward and makes it fit a little bit tighter, which we'll get into in fit. But yeah, the overall material, especially for only 110 bucks, is really, really nice. So there's that. Moving on to the fit, I went up half a size and the shoe fits me perfectly, right? So lengthwise, I'm good to go. And like I said, I feel like it's because of this foam and it's kind of pushing my foot forward probably. So because of that, I feel like most people, you should go up half a size. But if you do want a super duper snug fit, probably go true to size, but we'll have to see on how the foam breaks in here in the heel. Sometimes it kind of bottoms out and gets a little bit thinner, you know what I mean? And the fit gets a little bit looser once you break it and keep playing in it. So we'll have to see on the fit. And also obviously with this textile material, it might even get a little bit roomier as well for the fit. But again, we'll have to see on that. But right now it also is, it's not super snug. It's actually a little bit roomy. There's a little bit of dead space, you know, because I feel like they made it a little bit roomy, you know? And the width wise, I would say it's normal width. So overall, going up half the size for me is a nice fit for me right now. Of course, that can change once I start playing it and break it in. And now moving on to the support and lockdown, I feel like it'll be pretty good, right? So for lateral containment, we can see here in the forefoot, the foam does come up acting as a sidewall. And then here in the heel, we have like this plastic, right? It comes up acting as sidewall as well. And there seems to be an internal TPU heel counter, and lateral stability feels like it'll be pretty good too. Here in the forefoot, we do have a little bit of an outrigger, it's protruding out, but like I said, here in the heel, there is a lot of compression, so we'll have to see on that as well. And overall heel lockdown felt pretty good so far, so there is a supporting lockdown there. And now moving on to the weight of the shoe, I feel like it'll be around average weight, honestly. Yeah, 12.6 ounces. Let's check the other shoe. 12.55 ounces. That's literally average weight. And yeah, this shoe feels pretty average, but it feels like it'll be very, very responsive because of the traction. The traction is feeling really good so far, but again, like I said, we'll have to see on how responsive the cushioning setup is, because right now it feels really soft. So there is the weight there. Moving on to the aesthetics, I love it. This shoe looks freaking amazing. This colorway looks amazing, but the overall design of the shoe looks great too. It says New Balance Hesi Low. And then there's a 2. There's a 2 in the middle, right? With the like this gray color. That looks really cool, right? I like the design of that as well. But also I really like the design of the overall shoe. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yeah, the New Balance Hesi Low V2 is feeling really good so far, and this might be budget shoe of the year. We'll have to, I mean, there's a lot of heavy contenders though. I mean, there's a lot of great budget shoes out right now. For example, like the Wade Flash. You know, the Zap 1, the GT Cut Academy, the AE1 Low, of course. I believe that's $110 too as well. So there's a lot of great performing budget shoes, but I feel like this shoe might be up there. I mean, New Balance is kind of killing it. All their shoes, like in their basketball shoe lineup, are solid, really nice performers. So I have high expectations for this shoe, right? But right now, it's feeling really nice. So again, if you guys do want to copy, try to leave in the free link in the description box. But that about wraps it up for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.